Hey Bayek, it's me Ian, and in today's video I'm looking at this. This is The Camp on Blood Island from 1958. This was sent to me by Tony, and thank you so much, Tony. Some great films, and this is one of those great films you sent me. This, incidentally, is a Hammer production as well. And it's a war film. Yes. It's 82 minutes long. On Rotten Tomatoes, it's 71%, which is not bad considering the subject matter and division amongst the critics about this film. It is, as I say, it's set in Malaya at the end of the Second World War, and reflects very much of how we saw and what happened, historical truth here, even though this film is not, people pointing out it's not historically accurate, but it's a mixture of all the stories in a way that came together, and they were able to put this into one film. The stories of the way the troops were treated and were prisoners of war in these Japanese camps. You can't hide from it, as some people pretend that we should do, and it portrays the Japanese in a bad way. This is what happened. This is a true reflection. I think it's because it's Hammer and it's seen as exploiting it. That's not true at all. I mean, it is a horror, so it got its X certificate in that way, because it is horrific, and it was marketed in that way, and it should be. And the public loved this film. It was a massive success, big box office success in 1958. Absolutely massive success, and I think that reflects it. So it was written by John Manchip White, produced by Anthony Hines, and directed by Val Guest. Val Guest, great director and writer. Also done a lot of comedy things before this. But he's known, the Quatermass Experiment, 1955. That's Hammer as well. Quatermass 2, 1957. The Abominable Snowman, 1957. A sci-fi classic, The Day the Earth Caught Fire, 1961. He was that. And When Dinosaurs Ruled the Earth, 1970. He was director of that, which is a Hammer one as well. Then in the cast, we've got Andre Morel playing Colonel Lambert. He had such a lot of authority as an actor. What a great actor he was. He was in The Bridge of the River Kwai, 1957, a David Lean film, which is about a prisoner of war camp and building this river. And we get all the horrors again about being a prisoner of war in a Japanese war camp. It's interesting, the parallels. That's in colour as well, and this is in black and white. And in many ways, the black and white really adds to the way you look at this film. Anyway, I've gone off there a bit. But anyway, it was in that. The Hound of the Baskervilles, 1959, played Dr. Watson, and how good he was in that. He was in Ben-Hur, 1959. He was in Cash on Demand, 1961, which we've covered with Peter Cushing. Favourite of mine, he was in The Plague of Zombies, 1966. He was in The Mummy Shroud, 1967. 10 Rillington Plays. Wow, what a film, 1971. And the brilliant Kubrick's Barry Lyndon, which is historical drama, 1975. Yes, wonderful. Then we've got Carl Mona playing Pete Van Helst. He was in a French film, Riffy, which was a big success. He was in Sink the Bismarck, 1960. He was also in a TV spin-off film, which they often did, Callan, 1974. They often did this. Big success that was on the TV. Then we've got Edward Underdown playing Major Dawes. He was in The Day the Earth Caught Fire. Say a big sci-fi hit. He was also in, yes, Dr. Terror's House of Horrors, 1965. Peter Cushing, Amicus anthology film, fantastic film. He was in a James Bond film. He was in Thunderball, 1965. Also, you know, I'm a Doctor Who fan. He was in Medloss, 1980. Fourth Doctor story, Doctor Who. Fantastic, yes. Then we got Walter Fitzgerald playing Cyril Beatty. He was in a film that I really loved as a kid, Darby O'Gill and the Little People, 1959. Aha, he was in that. Sean Connery as well in that one. That just stood out to me. I just thought, wow, that's a film for him. Then we've got Phil Brown playing Lieutenant Commander Peter Bellamy. Now, he was in a very funny film. I love this. A lot of people probably don't remember it. A Dick Emery film. Yeah, Dick Emery, comedian. Ooh, You Are Awful, 1972. I really enjoyed Dick Emery. He was a TV, and he is another one that went on to the big screen. He was also in Pink Panther Strikes Again, 1976. He was in Star Wars, yeah. New Hope, 1971. Yes. Then we've got the wonderful, beautiful Barbara Shelley. She plays Kate Keeler. What a actress. We've always mentioned Barbara Shelley. I'll just go through some of the films. You know them, don't you? Village of the Damned, 1960. The Gorgon, 1964. Hammer, Gorgon. And of course, she was in Dracula, Prince of Darkness, 1966. She was in Rasputin, the Mad Monk, 1966. And of course, it's one that I've fairly recently reviewed, Quatermass and the Pit from 1967. She was in that. Fantastic. Then we had Michael Goodliff playing Father Paul Andrew. He was in A Night to Remember, the Titanic film from 1958, and a film that I just talk about, and more people are beginning to recognise it and promote it. Yes, Peeping Tom, 1960. He was in that. It's the film, the beginning, that was so influential on slasher films. Yes, I know. I better not go on about that film as I do. He was in The Gorgon, 1964. He was in Cromwell, a film I love as well, from 1970. Richard Harris, Alec Guinness. And he was in the very last Hammer film, To the Devil a Daughter, 1976. Yes, I call that, it wasn't really, well, of the era, of the modern, of the classic era of Hammer, 1976. I know it came back later, but, to me that is the last one, really. Then we've got Marn Maitland playing Captain Sakamura, who is not a nice character at all in this. He's recognisable as a face. Stranglers of Bombay, 1959, Hammer. Terror of the Tongs, you remember that, 1961. The Reptile, 1965. And he was also in The Man with the Golden Gun, James Bond film with Christopher Lee. Another Hammer link. Yeah, Christopher Lee in that. Then we had Ron Bard playing Colonel Yamatusu. He's the really evil, bad guy in charge of the camp. He's off character. Now, films that he notably in was in The Offence. I've talked about that one before, in 1972. The Spiral Staircase from 1975, which is quite an interesting film as well. And he's in here again. He's here again. Michael Ripper. He plays this time a Japanese driver, not an innkeeper. He's played a Japanese driver and a soldier. Yes, He was in the pirate film we reviewed as well. Go on, Michael Ripper. Everywhere there's Michael Ripper in a Hammer film. Yes, you can't beat him. So, this was filmed at Bray Studios. Bray Studios, again, I mean, you just can't help but they were looking, they had a hot summer. It's the countryside just around Bray Studios. You really did think you were in Malaya. I mean, that is how good Hammer are, and the building and the sets and just everything about Hammer. I mean, it's outstanding, isn't it? And I think people forget that. When you watch a film like this, you really appreciate this, in terms of where modern filmmaking is. How Hammer created so much brilliant things. And here they are, doing it. You think you're in Malaya. You do. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. So, what is the film about? Well, as I say, it's set in this prisoner of war camp in Malaya. And what has happened, the premise of the film in many ways, is that the war has been won, but this camp doesn't know yet. The commander in charge, who is an absolute ruthless, terrible person, who's going to really... Well, he's threatened, if Japan lose, to kill everybody. Also, in that there's a women's prison camp as well, which is right now, which is an internment camp, prison camp. They in the same situation. He's threatened to kill them all, basically. Be a massacre. So they are thinking of ways of what they're going to do. They've so far managed to stop this, that they know. They keep sabotaging the radios, but they've got to have a plan. They've got to try and get word to the authority partisans, people in Malaya who are now free, to get them to help, or of course the Army or Air Force to send in help as well. And it looks like they're going to have to fight back themselves. And you've got all this kind of thing going on in the background of them doing this hard labour that they do, and the cruelty, the executions, the floggings, everything is just, it's so brutal. In a way, you can see why it's got the X certificate. And it doesn't hide. And this is what makes this film so special in many ways. And a lot of people may not have liked it, but the public did. And whatever the critics have said about it being anti-Japanese and that, it's fact. It's the film may not be historically accurate, but what it is saying and what it is the true experiences of prisoners of war. And this is reality. I'm sorry I'm preaching, but this makes this film even more compelling. It's sad in many ways that it was such a hit, but it's kind of been pushed away and not shown much. Unfortunately, now it's getting more recognition again. It's an important piece of historical film history. It is, and it's a great work. It is a great, and I've not seen this before, and now I'm thinking, wow, this is a great piece of filmmaking. It's something that should be shown. It has been said as it got the X certificate, exploitation and all that, but in a way it doesn't matter because it's showing what we should see, and it's a brutal business, and we saw the cruelty, how people can be so cruel, and it's there. And it's just a fantastic film. And I'm so grateful for, Tony sending me it. And, of course, here, look. Here it is. It's an indicator again, doing this, which they do. Some great extras on, documentaries, as usual, fantastic. Look at that. Isn't that fantastic? I just totally recommend this. The horror, this is horror, and definitely, horror as a genre is a massive thing, and it will go on a war film, but it's showing the horrors, and war is horrific. And this is a great film. And that's it. I hope I haven't preached too much, because, but it is, it's a great watch. It is, and it's something I will watch again, without doubt. I watch this. It's so good. That's it. That's me going on. Well, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe, and then we'll let you know when I produce these videos and do all my reviews. You can look at playlists and see what I've been doing, and you get film nostalgia, hopefully, sometimes, and me going on like this. Yes, and if you like this video, please subscribe, and then it helps. It helps. Give it a like. A like is important. I'm going off there, aren't I? Yes, give it a like as well, because that really does help get it into algorithms. Good for channel, as I say by heck, it's good. And it all costs notes. If you've got comments, please put your comments down. I really do love to read your comments. I do. Fantastic. Thank you so much. And that's it. Yes, that's it. So, all I've got to say is, I'll see thee again.